African American man should at least educate himself about proper fit of clothing. Because when you are in front of some folks and they see that your jacket sleeve is the proper length, your shirt sleeve is the proper length, your trouser hem is the proper length, your waistband is not gathering up, it doesn't fit, it actually fits.
Right.
These are verbal, you're having a conversation. Okay? Non-verbal
communication,
non-verbal communication that you're having with this person. I'm competent. Okay? I'm competent because in some circles they tend to think that we might not be competent. And that's just an easy, quick way to dispel all of that.
Welcome, soulmates. We're glad to be with you again for another episode of the Soul of a Man podcast. My name is Michael Humphrey, aka Chill, and I'm here with my podcast member, my wonder twin, my boy.
Yeah, I'm Darren Bryant, also known as DB. Glad to be alive and well this morning. Glad to see you, my brother. It's been a minute.
Good to see you.
Looking good as usual, man.
Trying to keep up, brother. Just trying to keep up.
It's the truth.
Well, we're excited because we're in downtown Greensboro today, my hometown, and we're talking about style. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about how you get to your own style with one of the best to ever do it. My homeboy, the founder and proprietor of Stitch, Alonzo Dean.
Well, thank you so much. Welcome to Stitch.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Alonzo.
I'm honored. My pleasure.
The shop is beautiful. We kind of reconnected. Didn't really know each other before I left Greensboro. We kind of reconnected about 2 years ago when I came back. Everybody, knowing that I had been in the custom clothing industry, was like, oh, you got to see Alonzo. You got to go see Alonzo. So everybody in Greensboro knows you got to see Alonzo.
I see Alonzo. That was good advice.
I would say that's good advice. Good advice. And,
glad you made it.
Yeah, man. But like so many clients that I used to see, even in our first encounter, I said, I'm coming to see you. I need some new gear. I love custom, but I'm coming to see you when I lose some weight. So that was 2 years ago. Weight went up 20 pounds as opposed to coming down, but I'm here and we gonna fit the body I've got today.
To fit the body you're working. Today, not tomorrow's body, today's body.
I hear you. Well, again, we know each other, but we don't really know each other. So one of the great things about us talking today is we're going to get to know you. I'm going to get to know you, even as your homeboy, going to get to know you personally today, right along with our followers and our viewers. So yeah. So with that said, who is Alonzo Dean? Give us your family dynamic, your background growing up in Greensboro, and kind of how we got to this point.
Sure, I grew up not far from where we sit today.
Okay.
I'm a kid from East Greensboro,
Yeah, me too.
around the way.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so it is quite a span how you get from there to here.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see this where I grew up.
Yeah.
So it was a journey. But, had two parents my whole life until my father passed away, but grew up in that two-parent household right here on East Market Street.
Okay.
Have 8 siblings.
Wow, big family.
Big family. It was actually my sister who really introduced me to clothing and to style and quality clothing. She was very interested in quality. Now, I'm not sure where she got that from. We would have to interview her to find out
right.
Quality was so important to her.
Yeah.
But from her spending time with me, she would take me shopping, would buy me little clothing here and there.
Yeah.
And from there is really how the seed was planted for style and paying attention to style.
Got it.
Because what I found out, when you dress a certain way, you get a lot of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I may have not understood it at the time, but apparently I was impressed by that fact, that people respect you when you look and carry yourself a certain way.
Right.
So style and image just became something I was keenly aware of at a fairly early age, probably before most folks my age were keenly aware of it.
Relative, how young?
I was that would put me in about the 7th grade.
Yeah.
That's 14 years
Yeah.
old, somewhere in that age.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the 7th, 8th. Yeah, about 14 years old. That's when it really started to become important to me.
Our stories, and it's funny how you hit junior high school when we came through.
Yes.
Started junior high school in 7th grade.
Yes.
And funny is how our stories kind of parallel in that regard, because that was really about the time I really got super interested. So went to Gillespie Park Junior High School. We didn't have a uniform, public school, didn't have a uniform, but I wore a blazer every day.
Oh, wow. Yes, love it.
And that became
Your signature.
That became my signature. I wasn't the big athlete. I was an athlete, but I wasn't the athlete.
Yes.
And, I wasn't the school Denzel. So it was trying to find that niche. No, bruh.
I don't believe it.
Braces, glasses, horrific acne, all at the same pubescent time.
Okay.
It was a rough combination. And fought through it, but had to get that niche. So it was right about the same. It was right about the same time. And interestingly enough, see some guys in the neighborhood one day, and they're all standing around with the magazine, and I'm like, oh, let's go see what this is. And thinking there's a centerfold involved.
I can say it's only 1 or 2 magazines they could play.
That could bring that many people around.
Yes.
Get there, and this guy's got this fashion magazine. This is 1978, 77, 78. 77, 78. And one no centerfold. And he flipped it back over, and it was this magazine, Gentleman's Quarterly.
GQ. Absolutely.
So I had my first GQ magazine, bought my first GQ magazine in 1979, and went on a rampage to buy the imitation of what I could find there.
That's exactly what I did. My sister introduced me to GQ magazine.
Wow.
And from there, see, GQ magazine, that's like a textbook.
Yeah.
It's the Bible of men's fashion.
Absolutely. And if you study it, you will learn. One of my particular knacks that I'm particularly good at is mixing and matching patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that specifically from GQ magazine.
Wow.
Because that's advanced dressing.
Yep.
GQ magazine. This is not low-level stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I really got into this thing, is from GQ. Well, in terms of really learning.
I remember years ago, and not to get hung on the licensing, but years ago, and you have changes within the industry, but even Polo, Ralph Lauren, who at the top level of that, you deal with Purple Label, and come on down through to the Ralph Lauren brand. Yeah, at basically its base, with Lauren. Yeah, with him really through the company pulling some of those licensing deals, a lot of those licensing deals back, to get more control of it, because even just production, manufacturing, shipping, delivery, it just wasn't at the quality as their high end.
And it hurts the brand.
Yeah.
It hurts the brand.
But it's interesting to me, Alonzo, how quickly that can shift. And I'll throw another name out there, Michael Kors. I saw a runway show on YouTube probably 8-9 years ago at his flagship store in New York. It was one of the most beautiful compilations of garments I had ever seen put together. Ready to wear stuff, not real high end, ready to wear items. And this was women's. It was a combined show of men's and women. It was spectacular. Fast forward, especially in the bags area with women, Michael Kors is kind of laughable, amongst consumers, and he's still making he still makes a great product, but it's just how quickly we can switch up.
Well, I told my wife, and it's funny, when we first got together, she was a Michael Kors maniac, is what I call it. And I said, why don't we not buy 5 Michael Kors bags? And let's just get one solid staple bag, whether it's a Louis, Gucci, or whatever else, that you can tote with everything. And then we talked about the history of the Louis bag, especially the Speedy. Was it Audrey Hepburn? Was a model for Louis Vuitton? And so I'm like, look, this lady is timeless. She's been around forever. She's toted this bag. She made the Speedy famous. So let's think about it. Classic, timeless, not something that's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. Let's get rid of, because let's think about it. If you buy 5 Michael Kors bags, now you've probably purchased that one Louis bag, to be honest. And just because it goes with this pair of shoes or that outfit doesn't mean it's cool. It doesn't mean it's right or even good. We kind of shied away from that. And, I don't know if she has me to thank for that. Or she's mad at me about it.
When you talk about classic, sometimes in this industry that goes out of style. Okay, so it's not a safe island to be on all the time, timeless and classic, because you have these trends and people want, the majority of folks want something different or other than classic and timeless.
Okay.
So, to your point about these businesses, these brands, things shifting so quick, I mean, I can think of several incredible brands that are no longer producing any clothing. They were doing what they did at a high level. They executed it well, detailed clothing, but the industry itself changes. They get so heavily capitalized, and there's so much debt. After a season or two or so, they can't ship anymore because they're out of money. And so, being good is not enough. You know what I mean? Or even being timeless and classic is not enough. You have to kind of take it all in, all the information, to figure out where you fit.
Gotcha.
Timeless and classic. I mean, I love a timeless and classic garment. It's not always enough.
So I'm going to take us back to our A&T days.
Okay.
Me was Alexander Julian.
Oh, yes.
And Cole Haan shoes.
Absolutely.
You talk about a brand that was classic and timeless during its run. It was everything to grab that Alexander Julian sweater. The colors.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And he had a great run. He even designed these Charlotte
Hornets basketball uniforms.
And then all of a sudden,
was pretty much gone.
He was gone.
Pretty much gone.
He's still in the business. Much smaller.
Got it.
Specialty. I met him a couple of times. I go to some of the menswear shows. And his son is pretty much running it now.
Got it.
At least when I last saw him, which was a few years ago.
Okay.
And he's a stylish man. So that never changes.
Right.
But what changes is what do people want, or how highly leveraged are you as a
business?
What can you stand the rain? Right. That's really the bigger question.
So I gotta stay here for a second on this timeless and classic piece, because that was the basis of my business. And that was my aesthetic. It was, I want to give these timeless, classic clothes. But I was in business before we got to the point of a shift that got a little bit more body conscious and got real narrow. So I've got my opinions about real narrow. It's modern.
Yes.
It looks good on the right body type. Drives me nuts to see gigantic athletes in these super tight, I call them Beatles suits. I mean, super narrow, where you're seeing, folks who have spent the time in the gym, they've built their physiques to a point where it's biceps and triceps bursting. It was never my impression that you needed to see that through your clothes, especially a suit.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Well, I refuse to be a dinosaur, man, in this game.
I hear you.
Period.
Okay, I hear you.
Regardless of what I prefer to wear,
Yeah.
I always pay attention to what's going on out in the streets.
Okay, watch it now. There's a follow-up question.
Absolutely. So I want to know, what do people want to wear? How can I remain relevant in this business? Because if I don't, I'm going to absolutely lose my client base, and I'm not going to attract new clients. I can't attract new clients if I'm looking like the hottest thing 10 years ago.
Okay.
It just doesn't work. Not as a businessman, it doesn't work. Now, I have my own style,
Yeah.
and it shows through. It's my personal style.
Okay.
But I also understand that you have to give people what they feel like is relevant for their life at that given time.
Okay.
So
I'm coming off the street and I need a 6-button suit. Are you going to guide me?
Sure.
Or are you going to suit me up in 6 buttons?
Well, let me school you. I said made to measure clothing.
Yes.
A 6-button coat mob is not even in my options available. Okay, so I cannot, thankfully,
Right.
I cannot help you there.
what about wide legs?
Oh, I can handle that because that's simple measurement.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm very good at manipulating those numbers to create looks and silhouettes and different types of balance.
Okay.
That's a big part of what I do.
Yeah.
Is understanding that tape measure and how is that going to affect that finished product.
Got it.
Right.
So I can handle the wide leg or the narrow leg or the short leg, however you want to do it with it.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 buttons
Is not even an
it's
option
not even an option
for you
for me
in Stitch.
in Stitch.
I got it. Okay.
So that brings me to my question.
Uh-huh.
All right, and we kind of
Unless it's on the double breasted, a 6.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, how about this 6? So we can you start on 6 buttons.
we got your sixes.
Well, not in a row.
I got you. I got you.
So that leads me to a pretty interesting question because
Yeah.
I think we had a conversation pre-recording.
Yes.
I had a tailor that I was utilizing in Virginia, and I would go in and look at a lot of his stuff, and I'm seeing a lot of people come in buy 6, 7, 8, 10 suits at a time. A lot of these were prominent pastors in the Richmond, Virginia.
Mm.
So it is the 6-button. It is the what Steve Harvey suits, as I call it.
Right.
And I said,
well.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I said to him, I won't mention his name. I said, hey man, these suits. I'm just gonna be honest. These suits are horrible. Why do you allow people to come in and buy these suits?
Mhm.
He said to me, Mr. Bryant, I'm a tailor. I'm not a stylist. That's up to their stylist to tell them what to buy. I make what they tell me they want.
Mhm.
And you know what? I couldn't even argue with it because you had these guys coming in who really didn't have a lot of fashion sense.
Mm-hmm.
They were modeling what they saw on TV. Magic Johnson made the 6-button suit as famous as Steve Harvey did.
Yeah.
And it actually worked on him because his silhouette was so tall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so my question to you is, how much of what you do is from the styling perspective
Mhm.
versus the tailoring perspective?
I'm a stylist through and through.
Mhm.
So the tailoring and the whole suit game is just the way I express my style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have easily been doing something else in the fashion industry or in this game.
Yeah.
But this is the avenue that I took.
Mhm.
Maybe the avenue that was available.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but I'm a stylist.
Got it.
I interpret my style with that tape measure.
Yep.
And our conversations with my client as to what do they do for a living, what is their lifestyle,
Mhm.
what do they want to project, and we come together and we make it happen. but I am a stylist first.
Got it.
Okay. That makes sense then. So you know how to.
I wouldn't have a bunch of horrible things hanging in my shop, like you ran into
Right.
a guy in Virginia. That just wouldn't work.
Hello, my name is Alonzo Dean. I own and operate Stitch, made-to-measure clothing for men, located in 231 North Elm Street, downtown Greensboro. This is where men come when they really want to dress the part, and they want to look their very best. They come to see me, and we take a few moments. We look at fabric. We talk about style. We talk about how they want to look in their chosen career. And then I make it happen for them. Stitch, located at 231 North Elm Street, Greensboro's best kept secret.
What's good, soulmates? This is your boy Chill. Hope you're enjoying the episode. But we wanted to reach out to you and just say thank you for all of your encouragement and support of the Soul of a Man podcast. It's been tremendous, and we are grateful. We need your continued support though. So while you're watching the episode, make sure that you click like, and also make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Truly, from our soul to yours, thank you. Now let's get back to the episode.
That you can being a stylist, you can have the conversation with the client, say, you know what, this is going to fit your body type better.
Yes.
This is actually no longer in style, meaning the 6 months.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you can have that talk.
Absolutely.
So let's back up 1 second. You're a custom clothier.
Made-to-measure specialist is
Ma-
that I prefer to use.
Got it.
Because when you say custom clothing, that can be
A little different.
bit misguided
Yeah.
if you really understand the difference between made-to-measure and custom.
So we may be asking the same question, so you go ahead, man.
So what's the difference in made to measure and custom?
Absolutely.
And bespoken and off the rack.
Off the peg.
So when people say custom, they're usually, that's kind of an interchangeable term that they're sort of talking about bespoke.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly what a bespoke garment is a garment that the pattern is actually made, a brand new pattern is cut from the measurements that you took.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no existing pattern that they're altering or anything of that nature. They're making that pattern. So it's a custom bespoke suit's going to fit your body perfectly.
Yep.
Because it's made specifically only for you. Now, and there's
Multiple fittings.
you know, a good tailor should be able to get it done within 3 fittings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's reasonable. I think if you're going beyond that, you're probably starting to somewhat annoy the client.
Yeah.
Okay, because oftentimes people have to travel, you know, if you're in Savile Row, but you live in America, that means you're having to go to
London. Yeah.
Your second and third fitting.
Right.
Bucket list by
Right.
Savile Row.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. So, and like I said, a big price point
Mm-hmm.
differential. Once you step into bespoke clothing, you are pushing 8,000 on up.
Yep.
Okay, to get a garment cut out of some decent fabric. That's where you are.
Right.
Okay, so it pretty much it excludes a lot of folks
Right.
when you understand the price point of a
Bespoke garment.
bespoke garment.
Yep.
Now, made to measure, which is what I do, the difference is instead of starting with making a new pattern, it's taking an existing pattern that is around very close to your measurements, and then it's altered. That pattern is altered per my measurements
Right.
to fit you, but it's coming from a pattern that's close
Yep.
to your body type. So there's a time savings in doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a cost differential from that time savings.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, one other piece on the bespoke custom garment is a hand-sewn garment.
Yeah.
Okay, a hand-sewn garment. Made-to-measure garment, I do provide a hand-sewn garment, that's what you want.
Mhm.
Generally, a person is getting a made-to-measure garment, it is a kind of a hybrid between some handwork and some machine work.
Right.
Again, that lessens the time that it takes to make the garment.
Yeah.
And time is money. And everywhere.
Yeah.
It's money
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So to the untrained eye, I'm sorry,
Yes.
do you think the untrained eye, now this is probably a rhetorical question, can see the difference between a bespoke suit and a made-to-measure suit on someone?
Well, the untrained eye cannot see the difference between a regular wear suit, a made-to-measure suit, or a custom suit. So, but let's elevate up from just the untrained eye to someone who actually appreciates clothing and likes clothing. No, they would not tell the difference between a made-to-measure garment and a bespoke garment.
Yeah.
You would not.
I was on the train.
Not if the tailor that you're working with, that's providing that made-to-measure garment for you, is not experienced.
Yeah.
Got it.
They've been doing it for years, and they know how to look at your body type, body posture, whatever problem areas you have. They can diagnose that. You put that in your notes, and that garment is produced, and no, you won't tell the difference.
Yeah. I was on the train, and this wasn't even fit. This was just detail. And on the train in New York, lived in New York for 20 years, close to 20 years. And I'm in a suit and with functioning sleeve buttons, and got the bottom button undone. There's a guy sitting across the street from me, absolutely headed to Wall Street. And he's looking and trying not to look, and I'm looking and trying not to look, and his first button is undone, and we finally locked, and he just gave me the nod. He looked at the sleeve and just gave me a nod of appreciation of,
Absolutely.
I see you.
We're in this fraternity together.
We're in this fraternity together, and it really is that gentlemen who are custom clients, that's what they do. And I remember having clients, and I was dealing with a lot of novice, a lot of new people coming into that world, this world. And it's different. And I'm would tell them, the garment's gonna look different, it's gonna fit different, it's gonna feel different. It may feel a little funny to you because you've never had anything on this good. And guys, thank goodness there were clients who were pleased, and it would come back and say, "Man, I'm ready to burn everything in my closet."
Absolutely.
And I'm like,
yes.
Don't do that, because if you're anything like me, you may not be able to do this every day. I was in the industry and didn't do it every day, and so don't burn the rest of what you've got. But I look at you and just your style aesthetic, and from hearing the story of your sister's introduction, how you work in combined pattern. And I say I could send Alonzo into TJ Maxx, Kmart, and Burlington Coat Factory, and he would put something together and have a guy, have folks looking at the guy saying,
Yes.
Who did that for you?
Who styled you?
Who styled you?
I used to do some personal shopping.
Okay.
Years past.
So let me back you up again,
Yeah.
because again, I told you we're gonna bounce around because we got a lot to cover with you. But so your sister kind of introduces you to, it gets you on this journey, this path to creating and establishing your own style.
Yes.
And kind of what's the progression from there that gets you to stitch? What sort of roles? What sort of personal study, training, etc. on your own that got you to this point?
Well, we prior to taping this, we talked a little bit about the different generations.
Yeah.
I would probably first, in answering that question, is talk about the fact that I'm a Gen Xer. And what that means is, our parents, they came into their own at around, let's say, the 50s and 60s, our parents, right?
Yeah.
A very traditional, conservative folks, okay? Upheld tradition during that time.
Yeah.
So what Gen X is, to me, is a bridge. Gen X is the bridge between very traditional thought and the technological age that was starting when we were starting to come into our own in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, so what that creates is, for me personally, is a very interesting appreciation and aesthetic that I can create. Because I'm grounded in tradition.
Right.
Okay, in terms of, we talk aesthetic now.
Yeah.
Grounded in a traditional aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing everything that's going on in the world.
Right.
Movies like Wall Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Harlem Nights and American Gigolo.
Yeah.
These kinds of movies that are very inspiring.
Right.
And just the fact that, again, on that technological age, computers, everything is happening. So I'm being drawn to something very modern.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've got that foundation.
Yeah.
So that just kind of sets up for you to understand sort of why I can do what I do, why I can play in both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I can be that traditional, classic guy,
Right.
but a very modern guy as well, because I understand both. I grew up understanding both. I'm getting, I got grandparents, I got parents here that's instilled in a certain thing.
Right.
Then I got the people in the neighborhood. You know, we used to go outside when I was growing up.
Right.
Now they say well, they say going outside now.
Yeah. Yeah. Different. Yeah.
We outside. Not that outside. But we were outside and we soaked in that culture, man, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Youth.
Yeah.
We were the ones, my generation, Gen X, which we
Baby boomer.
to be.
You better come over to the light side.
I'm listening. I'm soaking it up.
We are the ones that introduced really designer jeans.
Yeah.
Jeans fashionably.
Absolutely.
Loafers and jeans and a sport coat.
Yeah.
And a tie.
That was my school uniform with no uniform requirements.
It's a Gen X thing.
That's a Gen X thing.
Sorry.
See,
That's a Gen X thing.
Keep trying to deny it, but simply that's what that is.
Gotcha.
That's not a boomer thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Gen X thing.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
So that's gives you just a little bit of understanding on that foundation.
Yeah.
But I guess to go into trying to look at it kind of chronologically, you know, I worked around clothing.
Okay.
My first job in high school, I worked in shoe stores, Field Shoes, and it's another shoe store, Han Shoes, I believe it was called.
I worked for Hofheimer's at Four Seasons for 8 years.
Okay, right. So you're around.
Yeah.
There's nothing but fashion.
Yeah.
Going back and forth from in the stores as the patron of the mall.
Right. As a high schooler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In high school.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm seeing all of this.
Yeah.
I'm in the industry, and I'm very interested and passionate about it.
Right. Yeah.
So, again, like I said, once I understood what it means to people when they see you, and honestly, we need all that we can get in terms of respect.
Yeah.
Anything that we can do to garner respect, we owe it on ourselves to do.
Right.
Absolutely, because it's not going to be given for free.
Yeah.
You got to earn it.
Yeah.
So I was motivated, and you know, I think about when I moved to Charlotte. Okay. Because what happened was, I was really into clothing, and style, and I had never really met any other guys that were quite as serious about it.
Yeah.
I moved to Charlotte, and I connected with this little group of brothers. These brothers were serious.
Who?
You can say
Who?
My man, Juan Marshall.
Don't know that name right off.
My boy, Andre Guess.
His name sounds familiar. Yeah.
Andre Guess. My man, Ron Lopez.
Okay.
These brothers, Omar Welch.
Okay.
These brothers were actually serious about clothing. I was, I didn't realize how serious it was. It was just a part of who I was.
Right.
Who I am is just a part of it. They were serious.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys were working in the industry, and that's when I started saying, wait a minute, this is a serious thing. This is something that you could actually do and earn money. I didn't think of it that way. It's just one way.
Yeah.
So I think they were instrumental in sort of me kind of crystallizing and focusing on the fact that I know how to do something that most people are not in tune with. So I have a skill set that is at an advanced level.
Right.
Most people aren't in tune with it. So this makes me a value to those people who appreciate it but don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So that was instrumental.
Yeah.
huge instrument.
Got it.
I had a business partner when I opened this business.
Okay.
Chris Bale
Okay.
was someone I met back then.
Got it.
Chris Bale, he had a retail store, one of the first black men to have a retail store in the Durham area.
Okay.
Pushkins.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
In the 90s. In the 90s.
Okay.
When he had that store. But he came by one day. I was working in Dillard's.
Yeah.
And we met. And when he saw me, he just, again, like you said, it's that fraternity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he knew right away that this guy, he knows something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we connected. He was a great influence because he was a little older.
Yeah.
Had more experience in business. So here I am now. I'm attracting certain kinds of things to me.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So it kind of naturally evolved.
Yeah. Yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Actually, one is based on something you said, and Alonzo, the other is based on something you said. And I'll start with actually yours first.
Yes.
So you mentioned movies, American Gigolo, Wall Street, one of my favorite movies of all times, Harlem Nights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Harlem Renaissance period, what we consider the golden era of fashion, especially amongst African Americans.
Yes.
How much of a impact do you think that time period has on fashion today, your fashion sense, and where have we lost that?
Okay. Well, that's a great thesis, really. It sort of goes like this. There are still those who are impacted like me and you guys,
Yeah.
and there are other guys. We found a lot of these people when we joined Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is
Yeah.
a fantastic community
Yeah.
of like-minded folks.
Yeah.
And I've met some great guys.
Yeah.
So
We know a lot of the same people. I see them follow you, and yeah.
So from that aspect of it, those guys don't need any motivation. They're self-motivated.
Yeah.
But I think your bigger question is, how did we lose it?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little bit of history, in my opinion, of how we become so casual and how we lost it.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to 1900, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to 1900, men were wearing frock coat, F-R-O-C-K, and morning coat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
By 1900,
And I'm sorry, keep your thought,
yes,
but morning coat, tuxedo, basically, or what we would think of as tuxedo now, and think of JFK's wedding.
right.
Prince Charles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
King Charles.
Absolutely. Very, very long,
Yeah.
very formal looking coat.
Yeah.
But by early from 1900 to 1910, what was happening is, what we think is dressy today, the suit, that was called a lounge suit or a leisure suit.
Yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the point I'm making is, what we might call dressy today,
Right.
at one point was not.
Yeah.
So there's always been, from the golden era of clothing and back, there's always been a casualization happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we think we're dressed.
Yeah.
A man in 1895 would say, well, you guys are just not dressed. This is active, man. This is
Right.
This is athleisure.
Right.
You guys have. So you have to put it in perspective for your time.
Yeah.
Okay? But eventually, and we're seeing it now, it becomes so casual that there's so many men that don't even have a need, or they don't see a need to have anything that's truly a tailored garment.
Yeah.
Their lifestyle is not requiring you to go to a funeral today, you can go to a wedding today without having on any tailored clothing at all.
Yeah.
So we're just in a time, but rightfully so. We didn't create the casualization of America. It started way before we got here.
Wow.
So you can't escape it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's the nature of people. People want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When people start making more money and have more personal time, wouldn't have to work around the clock.
Yeah.
They wanted to be more casual.
Right.
They wanted to enjoy their life in a different way.
Yeah.
So the casualization and we lost it aspect, that's just natural.
Yeah.
It's just the nature.
Definitely in more recent years, the past 2 decades, egged on in our current time with business casual. And I heard probably one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard. I worked for the National Football League for about 15 years in New York. And when I went there, Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner. And it came up at that point in time that the NBA and MLB, but primarily NBA, was saying that its players could go to games in a more casual dress. And they asked the commissioner, NBA had already made the change, and said, so will the NFL follow suit? And he said, no. Well, why not, Mr. Commissioner? He said, because there's nothing casual about my business. And I'm in the room ready to just start Tiger Woods and then fist pumping and all the rest of it. But it's just a great response. There's nothing casual about my business. But we're in a time in the area where even in the workplace it's primarily business casual. So when do you have those opportunities if you're not of that mindset and that consciousness of, I'm going to a wedding, I want to look like somebody going to this wedding. There's a certain baby boomer traditional. There's a certain traditionalism that demands that I put on a jacket and a tie. I'm going to a wedding. I'm going to a funeral. I'm going to whatever. These occasions that historically we just did it. Going to church, we did it. And how casual is church now? Yeah.
Dressed in your Sunday best, what they call it.
Dressed in your Sunday best.
It's funny though. So you said something about sports, MLB, NFL. It's funny, if you look at the money that these sports generate.
Yeah.
Now let's go a step further and look at football, not NFL football, but soccer, as we call it.
Yeah.
If you notice the coaches on the soccer teams, these soccer clubs, the players on these soccer clubs, which are primarily over in Europe, dressed to the nines.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's based on the dollars that they make. Like those players make way more money than NFL players.
It's baseball money.
Yeah, it's baseball. And if you look at the coaches are in great shape, dressed to the nines.
Yep.
NFL coaches, most of them are out of shape a lot.
Right.
And baseball cap and a sweater vest on with a clipboard. Yeah.
Europe is not America.
Europe is not America.
That's the differentiation right there.
Yeah.
Europe is they hold on to tradition. They have so much tradition.
Yeah.
Right
there in those countries.
Yeah.
They hold on to that tradition in a different way. See, America is about continuing on and not being what you were. So America has never, as of yet, realized what its intention is. We've not reached it yet. So we're still trying to be what is in our Constitution.
Yeah.
That is what they say America is supposed to be.
Right.
And we haven't reached it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to hold on to a tradition when we know some of the traditions in this country needed to be completely abolished.
Right.
So we're different mindset. Americans, we're different.
Yeah.
See, and that's another reason why we're easily to let go of some of these traditions.
Right.
We're trying to be or get somewhere else.
But it's funny, the things that we should let go, we don't. And the things that we shouldn't let go, we do.
Right.
Especially a certain segment of America. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that out. That's a whole other story. So another quick question, I had to come back to
Yeah.
You talked about having clients who would come in and get their first suit made. And then they're ready to throw everything in their closet away.
Yeah.
Alonzo, you and I were talking prior to recording about this euphoria that you get when you get your first, made to measure, custom piece, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I've never been on drugs. Never really been addicted to anything. But I can almost imagine what it would feel like being addicted, because when I got my first piece mail,
Oh my gosh.
it was an addiction.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I mean, it was the rush that I got.
You can never go back.
You can never go back to the rack.
Never go back to the rack.
I told you I went on vacation with my wife. It was our 5-year anniversary. We went to Thailand, and within an hour of me being in Thailand, I was in a tailor shop.
That's serious.
And this is no joke.
That's an addiction.
And the reason it was an hour, because it took us time to get from the airport to the hotel, check into the hotel, do things there, put our bags down, messed up with the time zone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're traveling to a tailor. My wife's looking at me like, have you lost your mind? We're on vacation. We're celebrating an anniversary. You want to go to a tailor.
Yes.
Right.
And I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And went to see him 3 times while I was there.
That's what we call an addiction.
Yeah.
I don't know that people understand. And I've said this to guys. I've had
It's
people come
different.
to me and say, hey, I want to get a suit. And I'm like, where's your wife?
Mhm.
And they're like, well, why do you need to know where my wife is? Because I need to explain to her that you're going to have money come out of your bank account.
Vast sum.
And it's not going to be, you're not spending it on alcohol, drugs, and prostitutes.
Mhm.
You're spending money on clothing because you're going to get addicted.
Yeah.
It just happens. So talk to me about that euphoria, man. You guys probably know it better than I do because you have more clients. Obviously, I have been your client, so you've been my pushes.
Well, I'm gonna jump in real quick before Alonzo. I remember the day I was in China, in Hong Kong, and literally the Kowloon section of Hong Kong, it's all tailors, and this one shop was the stop on this trip through China. And I go in, the guy never had the experience before, and it I would imagine is quite different from the experience that you give talking to your clients and going through with your clients. It was a little rushed.
Yes.
It was a little rushed. It was because it was their studio, their showroom, and the manufacturing was in the same location.
Absolutely.
And the guy takes my measurements and said, okay, come back tomorrow. And I said, I'm leaving in 2 days. I need to know how this works. Will you ship it to me? Because I'm assuming you're going to need to ship. It's going to take time for you to put this together. You're going to need to ship it to me. Oh, no problem. No, come back tomorrow. And get back the next day. Pair of trousers come out with no waistband. Slips it on me. And I know enough. My mother sewed, so she taught me to sew. So I know enough to know I need a doggone waistband.
Yes.
And like, okay, this is about to be that stuff for real.
Okay.
So next he brings out the jacket. It's a try-on. So there's one sleeve.
White stitching everywhere, I'm sure.
It's stitched up. There is no lining at that point. No padding, no lining, no nothing. And puts it on. I'm like, I'm missing a sleeve.
No buttons, by the way.
No buttons. What are you doing? I'm leaving tomorrow. I've got to go back to the States tomorrow. And he's annoyed with me at this point. Just, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Calm down. Go back. And the next morning, and I'm like, this is a disaster. And he comes out, unzips something, the garment bag, slips the trousers on, jacket on, vest.
Blew your mind.
2 days. And sent me back to the States on my scheduled flight, happy. So didn't wear it for months and had an opportunity right before I left for New York to debut this suit at church. And I was leaving for New York. Pastor says, hey, come up, let me pray for you. So you get ready to go on an adventure. You never lived outside of Greensboro. Come up and pray. Went up on the stage, prayed for me. I come out of the church, and guys who were in the know, yo, bro, who cut that for you? I hadn't even heard that term before.
That was interesting.
That was interesting. I was Jay-Z.
Right.
It's like, what's with the suit? They didn't know what it was, but they knew it was something different. And the whole inspiration had come from Bill Clinton. He's black suit. And I saw him step off of Air Force One, black suit, crisp white shirt, and a platinum tie. And, he had the full gray.
He was wearing what looked like Armani or something like that.
It was nice. It was so nice. I called my brother and said, yo, turn on evening news. Look at this suit Clinton is in. And again, the novice, they didn't know what it was, but they knew it was something different, something special. Didn't know what it was. That sparked my business. Yeah. I said, I've got the euphoria. I'm sorry. Yeah. I said, I've got to give other brothers this feeling.
That euphoria, man, is, this is no lie. People have been saying this is extreme because we're talking about clothes. But to someone who loves fashion, that euphoria was probably, marriage, kids born, few, graduation, blah, blah, blah. There are a few things, but it certainly was right up there.
It's right there.
Top 10.
It's right there.
I don't care what anybody says. Call it what you want.
Yeah.
It was top 10 for me.
Permanent. It's a permanent. That's once it bites you, you bit. Yeah. You bit, and it's permanent.
Yeah.
From that point on, that is going to be a focus.
Yeah.
To maintain that something special.
Right.
On your question, I've got clients that call me a pusher. I am a pusher. Yes. They just like, man, why are you sending me these photos of this stuff? I got problems. It's that euphoria.
Yeah.
It's that you can have something made that fits you so well.
Yeah.
What a confidence booster that is for men, at least of my generation.
Oh, yeah.
Look good.
Yeah.
I mean, looking good was valuable when I was coming up.
Yeah.
So your boy said it best. And I know you're not a big fan, but you know where I'm going with it. You look good, you play good. You play good, you get paid good.
Yeah.
And that's what a custom suit would do for you.
Yeah. That day at church, and I've always in the industry taking measurements, something called head forward. So I'm a head forward person. That's just my posture standing. I was 10 feet tall. And I was saying for myself, what is this? This is insane. I didn't know the impact that it had. One of the guys was in the balcony and saw me from the front of the church and go up on stage in front of the church from the balcony, and he was the one who said, "Who cut that for you?"
Yes.
It's
from the balcony. And I said, I gotta give this feeling to other people.
It's funny, man, because you could walk out of the fitting room and walk in front of this mirror, and I've done it. And I said to myself, I'm killing this. And it's not about me. I mean, it's me in the suit.
Yeah.
I'm killing it.
Yeah.
And I know when I hit the streets what it's going to be like.
Right. Well, we've had the conversation just to... women put effort, hair, nails, they have, to me, a greater variety
of accessories
and fashion in general to pick from at varying price points where they can really put together. I mean, it's nothing more special to me for me to see a sister that is just pulled all the way together. May not be, on European standards or whatever it is, the most beautiful person and the most beautiful woman in the world. To see a woman that's taken the time to pull themselves together and present the best of themselves to the world is just something special. And we've talked, and like, yo, I was at this event, and yes, I was an incredible lady. She's was with her husband. They were going to two different events. She was headed to the Oscars, and he was headed to the Step Show. What was he thinking about? And it's interesting to see folks together at times. Like, dude, you gotta step it up.
And it's funny, and that's
your lady is killing it.
That's when you know as a guy you've hit it right. Because when you're with it's really hard to outdo your lady.
Yeah.
Just naturally, it's hard to outdo her.
Yeah.
But when you got, as they say, your fit is right.
Right.
and people are coming up to you saying, "Hey, man, you're killing it," and your girl is standing right there.
Yeah.
People are giving you the compliments. You be like, "All right."
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby, I'm knocking at your door.
Right.
There's no competition, but I'm just letting you know here.
I've got a client that competes with his wife at various events that they go to.
Yeah.
And he says, well, her shoe game, they're going to always say she wins on her shoe game alone.
Right, right.
What I do,
right.
People are going to slurp him down. But he says, no, I got it. They're going to always say she wins in her shoe game.
Yeah.
And she has very, on point.
Right,
so,
right.
But on that topic, that brings up sort of some different feelings about the topic. Because I did hit a stage where I had to question, why do I need to look so good all the time?
Mm.
Why do I always got to be the best dressed? So that was very important to self-investigate. So that at a point that it inspired me to leave the clothing business. I left the clothing business in 2005.
Okay.
And I went to work for a cable company here in town. I worked with them for 6 years.
Yeah.
But that was my quest to understand a little bit more about myself.
Right.
Can I be successful if I'm not in this?
Yeah.
If I'm not flossing the latest timepiece.
Right.
And the great, crop.
Yeah.
Can I still be, Alonzo?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because it is such an addiction, because you get such accolades, we all in this room like women think.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you
gotta ask.
You get a lot of accolades.
Yeah.
From the ladies.
Yeah.
That's impactful.
Right.
Very impactful.
Right.
At least for a young man.
Yeah. So
I spent those years outside of clothing.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I could have ever done because it prepared me. First of all, I was making a lot more money when I left clothing.
Right. Yeah.
And it put me in a position to figure out, yes, I can be highly successful.
Yeah.
Doing something else.
Right.
Matter of fact, I initially was wearing a polo.
Yeah.
And some khakis.
Yeah.
So I was just like everybody.
Right.
So there was no accoutrement separating me
from anyone else. Yeah.
I still got into leadership.
Yeah.
In a fairly short time.
Right.
I said, okay, there is something here other than just looking
Right.
It was the man who was making the suit, not the suit making the man.
Well, I will take that. I'll take that. But I certainly made sure that was the case.
Yeah. Right.
I knew that it was important for me to understand, what am I really about? Okay, a lot of things can be very superficial.
Yeah.
It's like, I know how to do this thing and I'm great at it, but is there more to me than that?
Right.
And I got my answer. But I always say that if I have an opportunity to do I know I wouldn't go to work for anybody else
in this world. Yeah.
I said, if I have an opportunity to do it myself, my way, I would probably have to jump on that opportunity. And leaving cleared my mind.
Right.
And it gave me enough self-confidence and other skills that I have.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it led me to here, and that's part of that transition question that you had asked me, sort of how did I get here?
Right.
I had to leave here to get
got it.
You got it. Because I was also feeling that burn. In 05, things would get pretty grungy. The way men were dressing. Very grungy.
Yeah.
There was grunge and big hip hop influence on style and kind of gone off the rails. getting out of it at that time,
Right.
focusing, self-improvement,
Yeah.
gave me my own voice, what I thought about clothing, my own vision, my direction, on what I would do with it if I had the opportunity. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
Made my
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought I would make it back, to be honest with you, but I said if I ever get a chance, I would do it.
Your way.
I would do it my way.
Yeah.
And I, save my little coins while I was working.
Yeah.
And said, hey, Dave, it's time for me to do this.
Gotcha. And immediately it was brick and mortar down here?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, that was my comfort zone because I had been in the retail environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know I have something to show.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? See, I know that my style will attract folks.
Yeah.
So having a kind of little show place,
Yeah.
you can come in and kind of get a real feel for what I'm doing.
Right.
It breaks down the barrier. I will tell you this: when somebody sits in that chair,
Mm-hmm.
very few get up without doing business with you once they sit
Yeah.
in that chair.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Well, it's easy to get them in the chair. But once they get in the chair, we doing something.
I can see that. I worked with, in a sense, without brick and mortar. We were in a townhouse in Brooklyn, and the bottom 2 floors of the townhouse was studio space that I used. So you had to, you don't have to have that space, but it helps so much for people to be able to walk in and just see something spectacular, and say, wow, I can do that. So he's got that. Okay, he's going to show me all of these variations of shirting fabric, of suiting fabric. Wow. This is a great window pane. Look at the blue. Oh man, he's picked up the blue in the buttons.
Right.
I can choose that?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Can I see that lining?
Absolutely.
Are you serious? I can pick that.
I am serious.
I mean, spectacular.
I am serious.
It's spectacular.
Look at the subtlety of the square.
Oh,
That's the head of the blue.
all there's
You know.
patterns that we got going here.
3 patterns.
So, back to that, what I was telling you about, of really understanding in an advanced way
Yeah.
how to put
Things together.
have it be very harmonious.
That's a gift.
Well, that is a gift. I know that it is.
I had a patterned shirt today coming to see you, and the dad bod gave me some limitations, just to be blunt about it. And and I looked at it, but there's some, it kind of leads to something else. There's some rules. The rules. So there's some rules. So the pattern of the shirt isn't competing with the pattern of the jacket. The lining is hidden, but you can best believe with that lining, I had a client that was an attorney, and he said, I win a lot of my cases because every time I go into court, for no reason at all, I have problems finding my pen, and I have to reach and get, and opens up, and he would always go for these elaborate, really elaborate linings.
Yes.
It said, and it throws the other attorney off.
Oh, yeah. Right on the game.
Mind game.
Right.
Throws him.
That says
It's crazy.
extremely confident
Yeah.
in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, man, we're coming down to that topic, brother.
Can't be.
Yeah, we are. You talking 3 brothers who love fashion here, so we could probably do this all day.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave and let you have the last word, brother. I guess I want to form it in a phrase of a question. I guess, where do you see the state of men's fashion today?
Yeah.
Where do you see it, and where would you like to see it go?
Well, when it comes to men's fashion, we really need some help in terms of some inspiration. So, if, let's say, the blue pill, red pill idea, if we have a great movie alternative that is extremely stylish, it'll kickstart the memory that men have about looking good. We really haven't had any real iconic, stylish movies that were impactful as of recently.
Right.
When when Mad Men was popular,
Mm-hmm.
that sparked a bit of a research into that. It was that trim suit.
Yep, it was.
That aesthetic.
Right.
But men all of a sudden remembered, oh, women do like a man that looks good.
Yeah.
I can maybe get a him in my career. If I look the part.
Yeah.
So men need some inspiration.
Yeah.
So if we take the blue pill, go down that path, if we get some inspiration, we can continue to move this thing forward. There's always less participation as we go, but we'll still have enough people participating and keeping this classic, modern aesthetic alive.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of it, if we look at just the natural, and I stated right here that being casual is natural evolution of what people want to be. People want to be extremely comfortable, extremely casual.
Right.
So we take the red pill, go down that path. Well, I mean, we'll get to a point where there'll be very few folks that really know anything about
this.
It's because you have to ask yourself, this is a legitimate question. Ask yourself this. In the careers of today, is it going to hurt you if you're not dressed as well as we are today? Is it really going to hurt you in the kind of careers that you have today? Is that really going to hurt you?
No.
It's okay. You said no.
We said no as well.
Well, I agree. You've got some of the most influential, wealthiest people in this tech industry. They wear hoodies and t-shirts.
Right.
And never, unless they have to appear in front of Congress.
Right.
Okay. They put on a
suit for anything.
Question about something they didn't know.
Right.
So, what does that even say? The only time I have to put on a suit is when I'm being deposed.
Right.
So, that's just my take on it. I just feel like because people don't have to dress, it's not going to really take them off their path if they're not. Then I think that's why it bodes. It's a bit dismal long term.
Got it.
One other thing I'll say on that. I do believe, with all that being said, an African American man should at least educate himself about proper fit of clothing. Why? It's when you are in front of some folks and they see that your jacket sleeve is the proper length, your shirt sleeve is the proper length, your trouser hem is the proper length, your waistband is not gathering up, it doesn't fit, it actually fits.
Right.
These are verbal. You're having a conversation. Okay? Non-verbal.
Communication.
Non-verbal communication that you're having with this person. I'm competent. Okay? I'm competent because in some circles they tend to think that we might not be competent. And that's just an easy, quick way to dispel all of that. But I know how to put my clothes on the proper way. And they know what that means.
Right.
So it's valuable, particularly with us, because we get misdiagnosed so often. That's just my opinion.
Well, look,
good stuff.
Good stuff. We certainly appreciate you giving us this opportunity.
Thank you so much. This is part one, right?
It is.
Hey,
it is.
Brothers out there, I hope you got something out of this. For the ladies, I hope you got something as well. Something that will maybe jumpstart your man into getting more into this fashion game. Brothers, I can tell you, it's not a bad thing to get a compliment from your woman.
No, it's not.
And even though we don't seek attention of other women, it's not a bad thing to get compliments from a woman on the outside.
Hey,
thank you for joining the Soul of the Man podcast. I'm DB, and this is my man Chill. Alonzo, thank you for
thank you, brother.
We're out.
Yeah.
Congratulations.